welcome back again to another juicy video. How are you all guys doing? I know you are doing absolutely fantastic. Well, in today's video, by the title of the video, you can see I am going to be giving you all of the juicy tips and tricks you need to know about how to become an agency nurse and how to blow up your career in the UK as an agency nurse and let pounds flow on you. You know guys, I have your interest at heart, and on this channel I give you content that nobody will give you on the street of YouTube, because I want you to make that money in no time and to have financial freedom, especially if you are a migrant nurse residing in the UK. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about being an agency nurse, what it requires for you to be an agency nurse, how much you are going to be paid as an agency nurse, and the requirement you would need to become an agency nurse, and actually how to spot or how to land that agency nursing job. Personally, I have been an agency nurse and I have gained experience in 6 NHS trusts, and I have worked in gastroenterology, acute medical, surgical, trauma and orthopedics, respiratory or COVID wards, and accident and emergency. And so I am a pro in this game. And in this video, I'm going to be spelling out all of the tea and juicy tips and tricks you need to know to become an agency nurse and to blow up. Stay tuned and watch this video right until the end. So if you are new to my channel, my name is Becca. I'm a migrant nurse from Ghana, West Africa, and I'm currently living and practicing in London. And on this channel, basically, I talk about money, I talk about nursing, I do lifestyle videos, a little bit of me, some fun and positive vibes here and there. And to all of my returning subscribers, all I say is a very big thank you for always coming back to the channel. I am going to be giving a lot of information in this video. Kindly watch this video up until the end, and if you still have any questions pertaining to agency nursing or anything that I might not have talked about in this video, you can ask me in my comment section down below. So when we talk about agency nursing or loan working or travel nursing, as the US people will call it, it's just being available or signing up with companies or institutions and traveling to other sites, departments, hospitals or care home to provide nursing care or to provide health care. So when we talk about agency nursing or when we talk about loan nursing, it means that somebody that works not under direct supervision of his or her manager. It means that most of the times you're going to be working on your own and you take responsibility and accountability for your own actions without the direct supervision of your manager. How to travel as an agency nurse? In the UK, you know that the transport system is great, and so if you want to move from one county, one city to another, you can go by air, you can go by train, you can go by tram, you can go by tube, you can go by your own kind of transport. Personally, when I started agency nursing, I wasn't driving, and so I was using the train and the Uber or the taxi or the boat most of the time. You know that in the UK, when you are working, especially when you're under tier 2 sponsorship, you have 20 hours of extra that you can work with a second job. And so if you have the strength to work, you can do 20 hours maximum with a second employer. However, if you have your British citizenship or if you have your indefinite leave to remain, then you can work as a full-time agency because you do not have any visa restrictions. But with this being said, if you're on tier 2 sponsorship and you still want to join the agency nursing, you can pick up shifts up to 20 hours from your first job and you can still do the agency nursing. And also let me state this, if you're just wondering whether you can be in one site and work in the other, the answer is a big yes. So you can be in the care home and work in the NHS, and you can be in the NHS and work in the care home, provided if you have the relevant skills and knowledge in that specific department or unit of at least 6 months. So for you to qualify to be an agency nurse, you need exposure or experience of at least 6 months in that relevant field. So probably you were in the NHS, you've worked for more than 6 months or up to a year, you've gained experience in the NHS, and you have moved probably to the private or to the care home. You can go back to the NHS and take up agency shift. Or if you are in the care home and you've moved to the NHS, but you have prior knowledge in the care home, you can go back to the care home and do agency shifts, and nobody is going to be questioning you about. Now let's go into the requirements you will need to become an agency nurse. The number one requirement you need to join the agency is that you should have at least 6 months of experience in relevant field. So if you want to do agency in the care home, you should have at least 6 months of experience in the care homes. If you want to work with the NHS, depending on the specialty or depending on the wards you want to work with, you should have at least 6 months of relevant field in those areas. And also there are some additional competencies that you need to gain. So competencies like you have to do your online statutory and mandatory trainings. However, if you don't have these trainings already or you don't have certification to prove that you've done these trainings, the agency will give you a link. Most of them have links to free online trainings that you can do, and it's going to be making you competent to join the agency. They also need compulsory trainings like medication administration training, because you cannot be a nurse or you cannot work as a nurse without having your competencies in medication administration. However, if you are joining the agency as a carer or as a healthcare assistant, then you wouldn't need the medication administration competence. You also need experience or exposure in venipuncture and cannulation, which is not a compulsory requirement or a compulsory competence. But if you're going to be working in areas like accident and emergency, they actually need you to learn or to have competency in venipuncture and cannulation. Other additional skills that you need to have as an agency nurse, which is not compulsory but is going to make you stand out and make your work easier for you, is how to use things like the bladder scanner, how to use the cardiac monitor, how to use the infusion pumps, learn about the various kinds of beds, how to do risk assessment, water load assessment, malnutrition assessment, false risk assessment, post-fall assessment, how to catheterize and pass an NG tube. It's not compulsory for you to have all of the skills, but at least one or two of these can boost your experience and exposure and make you more effective as an agency nurse. So how to spot agencies or how to find agencies in the UK? The number one requirement is that you should be in the UK already. So if you are not in the UK, this is not for you. But if you are in the UK and you have your NMC PIN as a registered nurse, then you can do the agency. However, if you do not have your PIN and you still want to work as a healthcare assistant or as a senior carer or as a support worker, yes, you can still go ahead and do agency shift. So you need to spot agencies. And how would you spot an agency? As you are holding your phone now, after watching this video, kindly go onto Google and search for CV library. When you find CV library, kindly put in your credentials, that is your name, your address, your contact number, your postcode and stuff like that, and add your CV so that potential employers or potential agencies can get to you in no time. Or another alternative is just to grab that phone and dial in Google search agency nursing jobs near me, and with this, a lot of agency nursing jobs are going to pop out for you. The reason why I can't recommend agency A or B is because of location, because probably I'll tell you subscribe with this agency or subscribe with that agency, but that agency will not be within your domain or will not be within your jurisdiction, and so you have to use a simple Google search. Registration. I'm going to be telling you now the things that these agencies ask for or the requirements that they ask for you before you can join the agency. Trust me, the agencies ask for so many documents just to prove that you actually have the right to work in the UK. So the number one document you need is the right to work in the UK. And we'll talk about the right to work in the UK. That is basically your biometric resident permit or your BRP or your indefinite leave to remain if you have one, or your British citizenship if you have one. Without this, you cannot be an agency worker. Or let's say you are on a visa and you want to do agency jobs, you can't, I'm sorry, but you can't do agency work. So you need the right to work in the UK. That is the number one requirement. Number two requirement is your curriculum vitae or your CV. So you need a CV that will land you that agency nursing job. So you need a CV that is concrete, you need a CV that is solid, that spells out all of the areas you have worked, either home and abroad, and this is going to help you to get more agencies or to get good agencies that are going to be paying you better rate. The next thing the agency asks is for references. So you need to give at least 2 references within 3 years of employment. So you can use your home country, or you can use the UK depending on your experiences. If you've been in the UK for more than 3 years, then you need to get all your references from the UK. But if you've been in the UK for less than 3 years, then you can get one reference from home and you can get one reference from your current place of employment. And these references need to be somebody that is higher than you, or that is higher than your band level. So if you're band 5, you can use a band 6 for your reference. If you're band 6, you can use a band 7 for a reference, and so on and so forth. Your reference doesn't necessarily need to be your manager. It needs to be somebody that you have worked under direct supervision with, and that person can testify and write positive things about you. The other requirement they ask for you is your trainings, which I have spoken about, which is your statutory and mandatory trainings and your competencies. Another thing they ask for is your police check, or if you are in the UK, they call it the DBS, that is the disclosure for barring services, which states that you do not have any criminal records or you are not under any investigation whatsoever. Another thing they ask for is blood or immunization report. So most of the times they ask you to do a blood test. That is, if you do not have an accurate immunization report, let's say for varicella, measles, rubella, tuberculosis, and so on and so forth. They also ask you for your P60 form or any letter from HMRC that shows that you have no issues with HMRC. Another thing they ask for is your PIN or your license, especially if you are a professional. So if you're a registered nurse, a registered midwife, a registered community nurse, a registered dental, whatever, a registered doctor, they need your PIN or your registration number just to go onto NMC's website to show that your PIN is active and you have no issues with NMC. Another thing they ask for is your indemnity insurance, and that is why I always recommend for you to join a trade union, for example Royal College of Nurses. So when you join the trade union, most of the times they give you this indemnity insurance when you ask for them. They also ask for a copy of your passport and any visas that are in your passport. Another thing they ask for is proof of address, which you can give by using your tenancy agreement, your utility bills, your bank account details, and so on and so forth. They also require you to have a driver's license, which is not compulsory because they know that most of the times you can use the public transport, because the public transport in the UK is great, and so it's not a compulsion, or it's not compulsory for you to have a driver's license. However, it's an added advantage for you to have a driver's license. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is the salary of agency nurses. I'm going to be giving you an example of agency rates and share with you a payslip that I have done in agency nursing, so that you know how rewarding agency nursing can be. So the agency nurses request you to be paid through 3 ways. So you can choose to be paid through either the umbrella company, the limited company, or the pay as you earn, that is the payee. Most of the agencies now post COVID has stopped taking or has stopped accepting people with limited company, because the limited, we talk about limited company is basically you opening your company with your name and receiving your salaries through your company's account, and then at the end of the taxable year, you look for an accountant or a tax accountant to work out all of your taxes, and you pay directly to HMRC. Most of the agencies have stopped accepting nurses or people with these limited company. The other option is to use the umbrella company. So when we talk about the umbrella company, that is when there is a company that has its own accountant and its own tax worker, and they factor you in this company. They take your details and they work your taxes on your behalf and pay to HMRC on your behalf. Now let me state this: if any company tells you that they are going to be employing you and going to be giving you a bigger rate through their limited company so that you cut down taxes, please try to avoid it. Because recently there's been an issue where people have joined some umbrella companies that had problems of telling workers that they're going to be giving them high take-home salary, and these companies have problems with HMRC, and HMRC is investigating such companies. So if a company walks up to you and tell you they can give you a higher take-home salary so that you pay less taxes, please watch out. It is a red flag. It can land you in a future problem. Now, how much do agencies pay? Based on your experience, based on your field, if you are a doctor, you are paid more as an agency doctor, or a locum doctor, that's what they call it. If you are a registered nurse, based on your experience, based on your field, you are paid based on your experience and based on your field. So let's say, for instance, endoscopy agency nurses are paid between 300 to 400 pounds after tax deduction. And this is because it's a specialty that is in higher demand. And the agency, if you're an endoscopy nurse, you do only 10 hours and you're paid like 300 to 400 after tax deduction per shift. If you have knowledge or background in ITU, most of the times ITU and accident and emergency also pays way more. If you're working on the ward, depending on the agency, you can be paid anything between 30 to 45 pounds per hour, depending on your location. In this particular shift, I did on a COVID ward, which is a respiratory ward, and at that time there was no visa restriction. Visa restrictions were lifted from 20 hours to unlimited hours, and so one could do more if they had enough energy. It was a 2-9 shift. So the first day I was paid a rate of £30, my first 2 hours and 50 minutes of the shift, and the rest of the 9 hours I was paid a rate of £35. The next day also was the same. I was paid £30 per hour for the first 2.5 hours, and for the rest of the 9 hours I was paid a rate of £35. If you put all of this together, it gives you a total of £780 for those 2 shifts. I paid a 20% tax out of this money, which was £156 for tax, and I paid an administrative fee of £13 to the limited company for calculating my taxes. So if you take this money, that is 169, that was deducted from the money, I took home 611 for those 2 shifts. This is how much or how little agency nurses pay. And this was when I was very young in agency, when I was very new to agency, when I didn't know much about working as agency. With time, when your value increases, you can get agents that will pay you as high as £100 per hour. I know people that are taking that, so I know what I'm talking about. So even if they're paying you 70, 80, 100, if it's a bank holiday, you can be paid more. In no time, if it's a mortgage you want to buy, you can buy it. If it's a luxury car you want to buy, you can buy it cash without using car finance. So this is the beauty of working as a travel nurse, or as a loan worker, or as an agency nurse. And also not only about the money, the experiences and the exposure you gain of being an agency nurse. You learn a lot of terminologies, you learn a lot about the healthcare system and regulations in the UK, you learn how to use loads of equipment that you would never ever use if you are sitting in your one corner. If you want to be financially independent, financially buoyant, financially free, and do the things that you want to do, consider being an agency nurse. And also, if you are going to be working for 3 or 4 days in a week and you have your extra 3 days left for you, don't use all of the 3 days to sleep on your bed. Otherwise, poverty will knock on your door. I hope this video is of help to you. If you think this video is, please do well to give this video a big thumbs up, and also comment in the comment section down below. This way YouTube is able to promote my channel and my videos. Also do well to share this video with people. Do not be selfish and don't keep it onto yourself. Until we meet again in my next video, I want to meet you financially independent. I want to meet you financially buoyant. I want to meet you rich. Until we meet again in my next video, guys, it's bye for now. Adios.